My name is Sarah, and I thought I was a smart traveler. I had visited 47 countries, spoke 3 languages, and considered myself street smart. But over the course of 2 years, I lost $50,000 to travel scams. Not all at once, but bit by bit, trip by trip, until I realized I had become the perfect victim. Today I'm going to tell you the complete story of how I got scammed, robbed, and cheated across 4 continents. But more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to recognize these scams before they happen to you. Because after losing everything, I spent 3 years researching, investigating, and tracking down the people who did this to me. This isn't just a list of travel tips. This is a survival guide. It all started in Barcelona, March 2019. I was celebrating my promotion with a solo trip to Europe. I felt confident, independent, and ready for adventure. I had no idea I was walking into a perfectly orchestrated trap. I arrived at Barcelona El Prat Airport around 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. The first red flag should have been obvious, but I missed it completely. As I wheeled my suitcase through the arrivals area, a well-dressed woman approached me.
Excuse me, are you American? I work for the tourism board and we're conducting a survey about visitor experiences. Would you mind answering a few questions?
She had an official-looking badge, spoke perfect English, and seemed genuinely helpful. This is what I learned later. Professional scammers always approach you with authority and helpfulness. They make you feel special, chosen. She asked about my travel plans, where I was staying, how long I'd be in the city. I told her everything, the name of my hotel, that I was traveling alone, that I had budgeted $3,000 for the week-long trip. I thought I was being friendly. I was actually providing a complete victim profile. After the survey, she recommended a restaurant that offered authentic Catalan cuisine. She even called ahead to make me a reservation. I felt so welcomed, so taken care of. The restaurant was beautiful. White tablecloths, candles, the works. The food was incredible, the service impeccable. Then came the bill, 487 euros. That's about $540 for one meal. I was shocked, but the waiter explained that the paella included premium saffron, the wine was a rare vintage, and there was a tourist experience fee I hadn't noticed on the menu. I paid it. I was embarrassed, confused, but I paid it. I told myself it was a one-time splurge. I had no idea this was just the beginning. The next morning, I discovered the woman from the airport wasn't from the tourism board at all. The restaurant was known for targeting tourists with fake recommendations and inflated prices. I had been marked from the moment I landed, but the real damage was just starting, because now they knew exactly who I was and where I was staying. 2 weeks later, I was in Rome, still feeling stupid about Barcelona, but determined to be more careful. I had done my research, read travel guides, and felt prepared. But scammers evolve faster than guidebooks get updated. I was photographing the Trevi Fountain when a young woman approached me. She was about my age, dressed casually, and spoke with what sounded like an American accent.
Oh my God, are you from the States? I've been traveling alone for 3 weeks and I haven't met another American. This is so weird. We're wearing almost the same outfit.
It was true. We were both wearing jeans, white sneakers, and carrying similar backpacks. It seemed like such a coincidence. She introduced herself as Jessica from Portland, and we immediately bonded over travel stories. Jessica suggested we explore Rome together. She knew all the best spots, hidden cafes, local markets, places that weren't in the guidebooks. For 3 days, we had an amazing time. She paid for coffee, I bought lunch, we split dinner. It felt natural, like a genuine friendship. On our last day together, Jessica said she had a confession. She was actually a part-time art dealer who specialized in acquiring pieces for wealthy American collectors. She had connections with Vatican employees who could provide exclusive access to artifacts.
Look, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but there's this incredible opportunity. My contact has access to a 16th century manuscript that's not officially cataloged. It's completely legal, just unofficial. The collector I work for is willing to pay $25,000 for it. but he needs the money up front for the transaction.
She showed me photos on her phone. Beautiful, ancient-looking documents. She explained that if I could provide the $15,000 needed for the acquisition fee, she would split the profit with me 50-50. I would make $12,500 profit in just 1 week. I was torn. It sounded too good to be true, but Jessica had become my friend. We had shared meals, stories, photos. She showed me her PayPal account with previous transactions from collectors. Everything looked legitimate. The pressure came gradually. The opportunity was only available for 48 hours. Her collector was leaving for Asia. If we missed this chance, it would be gone forever. She even offered to put up $5,000 of her own money to prove she was serious. I went to the bank and wired $15,000 to an account in Switzerland. Jessica gave me a detailed receipt, contact information for the collector, and promised to call me as soon as the transaction was complete. She disappeared that night. Her phone number was disconnected. The PayPal account was fake. The collector didn't exist. The Swiss bank account was closed immediately after receiving my transfer. I had been befriended, groomed, and robbed by a professional con artist who had studied me for 3 days to find the perfect angle of attack. Later, I learned that Jessica, if that was even her name, was part of an international network that specifically targets solo female travelers in major European cities. Official police report documents and international scam warnings showing the widespread nature of these operations.
This happens every day. These people are professionals. They study psychology, they work in teams, and they're very good at what they do.
6 months later, I was in Bangkok trying to rebuild my confidence and my savings. I thought I had learned my lesson about trusting strangers. But the scammers in Asia had completely different methods. They used technology and timing to create perfect storms of confusion. I was staying in a backpacker hostel in Khao San Road, trying to travel on a tight budget after losing so much money in Europe. My phone had been acting up, slow internet battery problems, so I decided to get it fixed. The repair shop looked legitimate, clean, modern, with certifications on the wall. Water damage, he said. Very common in Bangkok humidity. We can fix it, but it will take 3-4 hours. The technician spoke excellent English and diagnosed the problem immediately. While my phone was being repaired, I used the shop's Wi-Fi to check my emails on their computer. I logged into my bank account, my email, my social media. All the things you do when you're disconnected from your phone. That evening, back at the hostel, I got my phone back. It worked perfectly. I was so relieved. But the next morning I received an email from my bank about unusual activity on my account. Someone had transferred $8,000 from my savings to my checking account, then immediately used my debit card to make purchases all across Bangkok. Electronics, jewelry, cash advances, all within a 2-hour window while I was sleeping. Here's what happened. The repair shop was legitimate, but they had installed keylogger software on their public computer. Every password I typed was recorded. The phone repair was just a delay tactic to give them time to access all my accounts. But it got worse. They had also cloned my debit card while I waited in the shop. The card reader at the checkout counter was modified to copy magnetic stripe data. By the time I realized what happened, they had drained my checking account and maxed out the daily withdrawal limit on 3 different ATMs. The Thai police were helpful, but the damage was done. The shop had closed overnight and reopened under a different name. The owners had disappeared. My bank eventually refunded some of the money, but it took 6 months and countless hours of paperwork. I learned that this scam specifically targets backpackers and budget travelers who are more likely to use public computers and less likely to have backup phones or credit monitoring services. They profiled their victims by watching hostile areas and targeting people who look financially vulnerable. By 2020, I had become paranoid about travel. I researched every restaurant, verified every tour company, and trusted no one. But loneliness can make you vulnerable in ways that paranoia can't protect against. I was in Rio for New Year's Eve staying in Copacabana. After months of solo travel and increasing isolation, I was desperate for genuine human connection. That's when I met Carlos. Carlos was a local tour guide, officially licensed with great reviews online and recommended by my hotel. He was charming, funny, spoke perfect English, and seemed genuinely interested in showing me the real Brazil beyond the tourist traps. Our first day together was amazing. He took me to favela tours, local restaurants, samba clubs that only locals knew about. He refused to let me pay for anything. "You are my guest in Brazil," he said. "This is our culture of hospitality." Over the next week, our relationship became romantic. Carlos was everything I thought I wanted. Passionate, attentive, culturally different, but emotionally available. He talked about his dreams of opening his own tour company, his sick mother who needed expensive medical treatment, his struggles with the Brazilian economy. On my last night in Rio, Carlos broke down crying. His mother had been rushed to the hospital. She needed an emergency surgery that cost $12,000 US. The public healthcare system couldn't help her in time. She would die without immediate treatment. Carlos showed me hospital documents, talked to doctors on the phone in Portuguese, and begged me not to let his mother die. He promised to pay me back within 3 months. He had a business loan coming through. Tourist season was starting. He would have the money soon. I wired him $12,000. It was the last of my emergency savings, money I had been rebuilding after the previous scams. But I was in love, and I couldn't let someone die when I had the power to help. Carlos disappeared completely the day after I left Brazil. His phone number was disconnected. His tour guide license was fake. The hospital documents were forged. There was no sick mother. I hired a private investigator in Rio to track him down. What I discovered was devastating. Carlos was part of a sophisticated romance scam operation that specifically targeted older, financially stable women traveling alone. He had done this exact scam to at least 15 other women over the past 2 years. The operation was coordinated through social media groups where scammers shared victim information, successful techniques, and even photos of fake family members. My relationship with Carlos had been carefully planned and executed according to a detailed psychological profile they had built about me. After losing nearly $50,000 to travel scams, I was broken financially and emotionally. But I had one final trip planned, Dubai, which I thought would be safe. Dubai has a reputation for being heavily policed, modern, and tourist-friendly. I figured nothing could happen to me there. I was staying at a mid-range hotel near the Dubai Mall, trying to enjoy what might be my last international trip for years. I was approached in the hotel lobby by a man in an expensive suit who introduced himself as a diamond merchant.
"Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice you're American. I have a business proposition that might interest you. I'm a certified diamond dealer, and I have an opportunity for a quick investment that could help you recover some travel expenses."
Normally, I would have walked away immediately, but this man was different. He was staying in the same hotel. I had seen him at breakfast. He had business cards, official certificates from the Dubai Diamond Exchange, and photos with what appeared to be wealthy clients. His proposition was simple. He had a client who needed to quickly liquidate some diamonds before leaving the country. Due to UAE export laws, he could sell them locally at a 40% discount from their certified value. If I purchased them for $8,000, I could immediately resell them to his international contacts for $12,000. He showed me the diamond's beautiful, certified gems with official appraisal documents. He even took me to a legitimate jewelry store where an appraiser confirmed their value. Everything seemed genuine and legal. The transaction happened in the hotel business center with what appeared to be official documentation. I paid $8,000 cash, the very last of my travel money. He gave me the diamonds, the certificates, and contact information for the international buyers. The next morning, I discovered that the diamonds were high-quality cubic zirconia. The certificates were forgeries. The jewelry store appraiser was part of the scam. The merchant had checked out of the hotel and disappeared.
I had been the victim of a sophisticated con game involving multiple locations, fake credentials, and coordinated deception. The Dubai police informed me that this exact scam had been reported dozens of times, always targeting tourists who appeared to be financially stressed.
Losing $50,000 to travel scams destroyed my finances, but it also gave me a mission. I spent the next 3 years researching international fraud, connecting with other victims, and learning how these operations actually work. What I discovered was an entire shadow economy built around targeting travelers. These aren't random opportunistic crimes. They're sophisticated international businesses with training programs, victim databases, and profit-sharing structures. The most important thing I learned is that these scams work because they exploit our deepest human needs: trust, friendship, love, and the desire for authentic experiences. The scammers aren't just after our money, they're exploiting our emotions. But I also learned how to recognize them. Every scam, no matter how sophisticated, follows predictable patterns. They create artificial urgency. They isolate you from your support network. They make you feel special or chosen. And they always have a reason why normal rules don't apply. Today, I travel differently. I'm still adventurous, still open to new experiences, but I'm no longer naive. I've recovered most of my financial losses through insurance claims and legal action. More importantly, I've helped dozens of other travelers avoid similar situations. If you're planning to travel, remember this. The best defense against travel scams isn't paranoia, it's education. Learn the patterns, trust your instincts, and never let anyone pressure you into making financial decisions while you're away from home. Travel should enrich your life, not bankrupt it. Stay curious, stay careful, and most importantly, stay informed. Thank you for watching my story. If you found this helpful, please share it with other travelers. Together we can protect each other from becoming victims of these sophisticated scams. Safe travels, everyone.